Hello everyone, I am Carla the Cosmic to the Divine Feminine Astrology reading, and what a big edition it is. We are Solstice, Eclipse, annular solar eclipse, and new moon 21 of Cancer. So summer solstice, winter solstice if you are in the southern hemisphere. And it's a big chart. A lot going on, but let's just drop in to the meaning of this first degree of Cancer. This first degree of Cancer figured in the full moon reading. Vesta was at 0 Cancer, and it figured in the reading before that. I think it's been a lot of things have been at the Cancer Capricorn axis. And they've all moved to other significant positions. So it's kind of like, okay, we got it all tuned up and now we're ready. We are ready. And in Maine this summer, this weekend, we are finally getting summer, 85 degrees. I will be in a sacred ceremony. I will be dancing all weekend in a Vision Quest ceremony, a prayer for ancestral healing, my own ancestral healing. And there's a lot of that needs to be happening now for me. And I will also be dancing on behalf of the situation in the world because, and it's perfect because Nessus, the planet that is very much about ancestral healing, figures in this chart. Nessus is in a harmonious aspect to Mercury, which just turned retrograde a day or so ago. So Mercury retrograde in Cancer is reaching back into the ancestral realm, into our next with Nessus and Ceres. Ceres is about nourishment. She also represents Mother Gaia. When you see Ceres, you know you are looking at the earth and matters involving food and food sovereignty and human beings having sovereignty, and as well as the health of the food system, the health of the interdependent webs of life. So approaching an exact conjunction with Nessus, and both of them are in a trine to Mercury in Cancer, Mercury retrograde. So this is a time to revisit. You can take it really personally, get really, granular in your detail and say, is it a time to revisit my relationship with food? Am I supporting my local farmers? How is my garden growing? Am I eating enough fruits and vegetables? Am I still pouring my food dollars into my health or for the earth? And whatever turns you on around food, it's worth examining right now. And the other thing, these are all in water signs, so water is essential. It's essential to growing food, to the health of life. It is, water and food are human want to. This is a time to, we're looking at the bigger and justice and equality and the systemic and unconscious and in your face but buried to white people ways that we oppress people of color, and especially Black people. So this is up, and an issue that is right beside it that is the issue around food, water, air, the human right that people shall have clean, authentic, local, healthful environment, shelter, and food. So this is all something that it's in play right now, and it will be throughout Mercury retrograde. So another aspect on this meeting and eclipsing, they are creating. Cancer is associated with the sign of the home. Home and family. People who are Cancers are often deeply connected with home and family. And speaking of food, my partner is a Cancer, and he always, he doesn't even have children, and the two of us, well, my son is living with us now, but he supplies his own food. But Charlie brings home food for the family, even though we don't eat that much. So we always have plenty of food and food in reserve. And it's just it's kind of one of the tropes of being a Cancer. So here is the moon and the sun. Here are the moon and the sun activating this for all of us to adjust, to be aware of how it's working for the collective. So there is another, which of these things I'm looking at? I'm going to do that one last. Another big aspect, which is happening right now, and it's been active for a while. These planets are kind of moving together in a kind of a slow dance. Black Moon Lilith is right in the middle of Eris at 16 Eris. Magdalena is at 16 Leo, and Hecate is at she's at 16 exact trine to Magdalena, and she is retrograding towards the Great Attractor. So what does this mean? First off, it's fire and our midsummer. Here we are in a conflagration of completely changing our societal norms and customs and bringing up a lot of resistance to that. And we have the heated passions for social justice, for reform, especially in the United States policing. But it's here. It's happening everywhere. And then we've got elections, we've got politics, and we've got summer. We've got a heat wave and a drought in my neighborhood. So you have these goddesses who are making this vortex of fire at this moment of the solstice, in this heat of summer. So how are you going to manage that fire? How are you going to hold that fire? In my series that I'm winding up now of womb, we meditated to fire, and we felt that fire on the altar in our wombs, and we felt that. So we can look at it metaphorically, energetically. Element. What does it mean to you personally? And just pause and say, wow, what's on fire in my life right now? Part of my body that's on fire. I hurt myself and I have a lot of pain. So I'm at that spot to burn out because I know it is mental, spiritual, and emotional. It is my mind, and it is up to me to use that energy to tell my mind something. So as I have said, I'm going to be offline, away from Netflix and television and Amazon Prime and my phone and my internet, praying, communing directly, sending energy, sending love, sending healing, sending wisdom, sending as much as I can move through me to the various situations, particularly the city of Tulsa, Oklahoma this weekend. And a friend of mine, right before I came on, I read her post about what to do about Juneteenth. Juneteenth is a national holiday for Black Americans because you you are celebrating the Emancipation Proclamation. And I think it's a specific day that some discovered that they were free. You would have to do some research on the exact details around that. I've picked up a lot, but I didn't retain it all. And so it's suggested that you watch the movie 13th, which is about the 13th Amendment, and it has to do with disproportionate incarceration of Black people in the United States for disproportionate crimes. Just Mercy, investigating Black men on death row who, for insufficient evidence, I mean, they were just railroaded through to death row. I have seen that movie. I saw it in the theaters. And there are lots of others that are listed. So that's a good activity to do this week, to inform yourself. We must be informed of the history we were never told. And that is a way of working with the fire. Let this fire ignite your passion and let information inform and direct your passion. So that's about the element of fire. What about the goddesses? Black Moon Lilith, the divine feminine before patriarchy, the essential creatrix, the void of the feminine who comes into form. Incredibly mystical energy, very much related to the ceremony that I'm doing this weekend, that I'm participating in, because it is about bringing what does not exist into form. It is the ultimate manifest feminine aspect of that. Black Moon Lilith, she says, you do not create anything without a right relationship to the feminine, a right relationship to the other, to each other. So she is an Aries on fire. She is connected to Magdalena, feminine Christ consciousness, which brings this energy of unconditional love, who is teaching peace, who is teaching this union of masculine and feminine, who is teaching feminine authority. To Hecate and the great Attractor. Hecate is she's a triple goddess, and she's often seen as the crone at the crossroads. We see her. She is famous in many stories as the elder. We just associate her that way, although she really is not exclusively that. She is woman and she is maiden. She's a thresholder. And that's ringing bells for me. That conversation came up. Who is a thresholder? Well, I know that Albion, who is in Taurus, conjunct Uranus, is a thresholder. I've gone and somebody was talking about it. I think it might be a tarot card. Somebody was doing a tarot reading, and it was about that. And I've gone blank. I didn't know I was going to talk about that. But the fact is, Hecate goes with. She's more than the thresholder. She doesn't just say, "Here's the door, step through it." It's funny. At the crossroads, I get the sense she says, "Here is the way. Here is the point of decision. Now decide." And she doesn't tell you which way to go. She just marks the point. This is the point of deciding. And if you tap into her wisdom, you will know which way to go. But she doesn't say, choose this. She says, decide. And there is this other way in which she is the midwife. She does not simply point to the threshold, liminal space between the above world and the below world. She accompanies Persephone between the surface, the world of the earth, and her returning to be the queen of the underworld, her marriage to Hades. And so when Persephone is coming back, Hecate is there to walk with her. And representing that Hecate contains all of these: the maiden, the wife, the dark, the unknown, the unconscious, and the conscious. She's the one who tells Demeter, who is searching everywhere for her daughter, Persephone. Ceres, Persephone, Demeter, Kore. Do I have my traditions right? She says, Hecate says, ask the sun, he sees everything. So again, she doesn't say, oh, I know, but she's saying the one in the light, the one at high noon, creates the shadows. The light makes the shadows. So if you want to see what's in the shadows, you switch the light around. So, and the sun knew. The sun said, Hades got her. Oh, and Zeus was in on it. So, and the great attractor is like the female. She's not even the female face of God. She is divine essence. This point far out in the universe that is pulling all of the galaxies in our neighborhood, including our Milky Way. She is pulling. And so, whatever it is, figure out that it's huge. Of the feminine, it is attracting. It is, we don't know. It absorbs, it receives. So this is like, she's like this expansive energy that is in a underlying way of everything that is happening right now is much bigger. So it's like she is this dark wind that is feeding the flames of this fire trine that I've just described to you. And she is amplifying the energy of Hecate, this crone that contains the maiden and the mother, and is walking with us through. We have a tough path ahead of it. It's going to take step by step commitment, decision-making, wisdom, and being willing to take scary steps into the unknown. And that, speaking of scary steps into the unknown, an aspect that I like a whole lot. First off, we still have busy Capricorn. For years and years, Capricorn has been full of planets. And so we have a 5-way conjunction. Saturn is in the first degree of Aquarius, retrograding back into Capricorn. Chariklo, Pallas Athene, Jupiter, and Pluto. And Jupiter and Pluto are both retrograde. Pluto moving fast, Jupiter moving faster. So Jupiter is heading into the second of its exact conjunctions to Pluto. And all of these planets are square Eris. Okay, let's just get clear about who these planets are in Capricorn and what that means. Pluto, death and transformation. Jupiter, expansion, good luck, abundance, and expansion. So if we've got death and transformation on, Jupiter is superpowering it. And in retrograde, it's saying it's like the ancestral healing. Go back and heal your past. And of course, the only way we can heal the past is in the present. But we have a whole lot of crap back there as individuals and as nations that needs to be set right. And it's institutional and systemic. It is law. It is corporate. It is profitable for the structure. And then we have the feminine strategist, the feminine, the strength of will. She's also, everybody in Capricorn is retrograde. Every last one of them Isn't that interesting? Including Saturn, Chariklo, Pallas Athene, Jupiter, and Pluto. So if this isn't a time for ancestral healing, I don't know that there isn't one. Systemic, structural, institutional, religions, governments, corporations, and not lip service. Go back, tear it down, Pluto, and reveal it, rebuild it, recreate, build it again from the ground up. Sounds a lot like dismantling racism, dismantling patriarchy. So right there in the middle of that, oh, okay, wait a minute. Let me try to keep this coherent because there's so much going on. There is, all of these are in a square to Eris. Eris is the goddess of discord. She is the one who doesn't give a fuck what you think. She didn't get invited to the party. She is going to throw a ringer. She threw a golden apple, I think. She threw an idea that was incredibly disruptive and started the Trojan War. We have a lot of Eris embodiers right now. This woman, Kimberly, oh my gosh, I've forgotten her last name. But I posted her, she was talking, her final line was, "You're just lucky we want equality, not revenge." She was an Eris down. The contract is broken. The system is broken. Tear it down. We are burning Target because it's not ours. We don't own anything. I mean, she said, go find that. Just go to my profile. And I don't remember if I put it on my page or not. Go to my profile. It's public. Scroll down till you find her. Incredible, impassioned, accurate, and true statement of what we're looking at right now. The exact energy of Eris. And she is square. And as much as I'd like to say we have options, I don't. I think we lost our options in 1866, 1865, when the Reformation, what's that? Not the Reformation, the Reconstruction didn't happen the way it was supposed to. When we gave slaves and gave black men rights, but then spent the next, 150 years taking away, denying them those rights by law, creating. So Eris is right here, and she is saying everything that's going on, this solstice, this Juneteenth, I'm even going to say the names to the news. Eris will burn it down. She doesn't care because she wasn't invited to the party. So this is the energy. And you know what? It's terrifying. It's costly to everyone, but it's just, and I believe it is necessary. And I am going to send as much energy of safety and balance and listening and evolution, not destruction and revolution, as I can. But what will be, will be. So that's happening this weekend. And that's been active for years and years and years. This has been a long. Let me summarize this a little bit here. Well, the rising planet, the rising point in this chart happens to be Algol, a demonized goddess, and she is in a flow. She is lending her energy, and vice versa, to this whole, this entire conjunction in Capricorn, but she is in an exact trine to Pallas Athene, who is feminine mental strength. She represents mental strategy. It's called wisdom, but it's really intellectual power. It's the ability to think things through. It's ability to see all sides and come up with the plan. It's strategy. It's gathering information. She's probably having a big meeting with Saturn and Chariklo, who happens to be a healer, and Jupiter, the king of the gods, and Pluto, the god of the underworld, and Saturn, who is law and order. So she's talking to all of them, and they are picking up the energy of demonized goddess. Now remember, demonized is perspective, but she is the aspects of the feminine that have been denied structurally, systemically, in this general broad way for thousands of years. And so that energy is very much engaged. And to the extent that whatever is coming down this weekend or during this era, this time that we're in, the demonized goddess, the divine feminine, she's calling the shots. She is strongly influencing what is happening. And the people who acknowledge her, who serve her, and they are waking up to her, and they may not even fully know it yet, but their hearts are turning that way to the things she stands for. They are the ones who will make the difference. They will make the difference between devastation and lockdown and lock up and mass murder and genocide and dismantling patriarchy and racism and solving climate change and all of these things. This is what's up for us now. And so the last aspect I'm going to talk about is something that is happening. It's actually happening it's really a T-square. The sun and moon are at 0 Cancer, but they are close enough. They're only 3 degrees away from an incredibly potent conjunction. And they're also within 4 degrees of a square to Mars. So we have a T-square, and Mars is square both the sun and the moon and the eclipse, and square Lilith and the great attractor. And one reason why this Lilith, and not the great attractor, Lilith and the galactic center, that's the black hole in the center of our galaxy, holding everything together, presumably. Not sure what it's doing there, but there it is. So Lilith at 2708 is in an exact conjunction at 2708 to the galactic center. Say, pay attention, this is really important. This aspect rules the chart. So this is where it gets personal. Lilith is the personal. Lilith asteroid is the disowned feminine inside of you, the parts of yourself that you have been told are unworthy, not good enough, less than masculine, not allowed to speak up, not allowed to vote, not allowed to have pleasure, not allowed to decide, not allowed to know about. Disowned, suppressed, repressed, oppressed. And the beautiful thing is the minute you turn your face to her and say, "Oh, Lilith, there you are," you see that that is not who she is. She is power, and right now she is drinking her energy of our galaxy. Also, another divine feminine object. And so she's opposite the moon and the sun and the eclipse and this portal. This is a portal for healing of the disowned feminine in every woman. And how many of it are there? 4 billion? I don't know what our population is, but 52% is female. And every single one of them has a Lilith inside. And every single one of them can look at the sun in eclipse and say, I feel my power. I'm not taking this anymore. And I'm doing the work. I have a program for women in menopause, sex after menopause, that is about reclaiming this disowned part of yourself. Ask me about it if this is ringing bells for you. And so all that feminine energy is in a square to Mars, and Mars is kind of holding it in place. Now, we can use Mars. We all have Mars inside of us. Our visions, Mars is decisive and potent energy, and we can make decisions that may terrify us. But we all have these decisions that we are avoiding or sidestepping or kind of making a toe dip into, and we have to make them full on if we're going to break that square, and if we are going to fulfill our purpose, heal the feminine and heal the earth and shift, make the shift happen. And you can look at the shadow of Mars, that here is police forces armed like SWAT teams and special forces, armies, and even vigilantes, white supremacist version of that would be, I'm not sure what Antifa is. I don't want to invoke them. I guess I just did. But I think that's the way to solve the problem. And Mars can lend its energy. However, Mars is in Pisces. Pisces is the deep feminine as well, the oceanic well of love. Venus lives in Pisces. Neptune rules Pisces, and Neptune is dreams and visions, creativity, and also delusion and illusion. So everything you see, notice that it, double check. Make sure that what you're seeing is accurate, and check in with your own heart, your own womb, and make sure that what you're seeing, who you are and why you are here. So just remember, one of the biggest thing that's going on is that the women who have been suppressed in their truth as either as daughters of patriarchy or women of color or Earth herself, anything that carries the essence of feminine in a personal way is empowered by the galactic center. And we have a portal as that opposite this, as the sun and moon open the portal in the wee hours, my time, I think 2:41 a.m. Eastern time in the U.S. where I live. That is the portal. Step through that portal. You've got Hecate. See, she's guiding us through the portal. And it's fiery. It may be scary as hell because it might look like you're going to get burned to a crisp, but no, you're going to be purified. Let's do the work. A lot is being asked of us now. This chart is confirming that, and it's telling us where our resources are. So thank you for listening. And I will see you on the other side.